ballistic missiles Monday. Japan saying the missiles landed in the waters between the Korean Peninsula and Japan. This coming 2 days after North Korea launched an intercontinental ballistic missile. Meanwhile, amid rising tensions between the U.S. and China, following the takedown of the suspected Chinese spy balloon off the coast of South Carolina earlier this month, Secretary of State Antony Blinken meeting with his Chinese counterpart in Germany Saturday. On ABC's This Week, Secretary Blinken discussing the balloon situation.
I can't speak to their original intent. What I can tell you is this. Once over the United States, the balloon attempted to surveil very critical, important military installations. We protected the sensitive information that it was trying to surveil.
China claiming the balloon was a weather research aircraft that had been blown off course. NASCAR driver Ricky Stenhouse Jr. winning this year's Daytona 500 Sunday. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson for Willows Academy, an authentically Catholic all-girls school that supports traditional values, where graduates attended some of the best colleges in the country, and last year's graduating class received more than $8 million in scholarship offers. For nearly 50 years, Willows has partnered with families in the Chicagoland area to educate women who will change the world. How do they do it? By developing virtue, intellectual clarity, and confidence in students to live by the values that have made America great. With all the pressure on girls from society and social media to conform, Willows offers your daughter a supportive environment that helps her understand and live the balance between authentic freedom and personal responsibility. As a parent, the quality of the education and values of the school will give you serious peace of mind. Check out Willows Academy at an open house on Sunday, March 5th at 1 p.m. Register online at willowsacademy.org. It's open for girls in 6th to 12th grade. Go to willowsacademy.org to register.
Your business is ready for a reboot, a recharge. The way our companies operate has changed. Adapting to the changes hasn't been easy, but never more important to succeed. Many of the digital resources available have helped overcome obstacles your business is facing, but are you using the full potential of every one of them? That's where Salem Surround can help. Your business needs to use digital tools more than ever to stay in touch with customers, making buying decisions right now and for the future. Will they consider or even know about you? The marketing team at Salem Surround gives you the tools needed to stand out and be visible to current and potential customers online right now looking for what you do. We'll design a plan that targets and surrounds customers with proven marketing strategies. Contact Salem Surround for a free evaluation of your marketing plan and see how we can help place your advertising message in front of today's consumers. Learn more at surroundchicago.com. That's surroundchicago.com, connecting you with new customers.
As time goes by, we can all use a little more help getting around. Staying mobile and independent can be tough for some, especially our aging loved ones. When you need assistance finding the right quality products to make life easier and more enjoyable, there's Mars Medical Supply. Home medical equipment and supplies to keep you or someone you care for independent and mobile. Whether it's living with certain medical conditions and disorders or recovering from injuries and surgeries that are difficult to cope with, shopping for specialty products can be frustrating. The Mars Medical Consultants will help you find the right solution and feature a full line of lift chairs, scooters, knee walkers, power wheelchairs, and rollator walkers. There's also financing available on purchases over $200 through Care Credit to help you get the products you need right away. For home medical equipment and supplies, rely on Mars Medical Supply, 333 West Maple Street in New Lenox. Browse products and featured items online at marsmedicalsupply.com. Mars Medical, keeping you independent and mobile for over 30 years, with customer care that's out of this world.
AM 560, The Answer. This live program is sponsored by Safer USA OT Media Group. It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. What does Florida Governor Ron DeSantis have in common with Illinois? Well, nothing, except Pritzker hates DeSantis just about as much as he hates you. Speaking of things to hate in Illinois, what's happening with the homeless camp set up at O'Hare Airport? Now, hate's a strong word. Some might call it a mental illness to hate so much. Are you a hater? How would we know? Well, your mental health data is for sale. If that's not enough, we have all that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. To participate in the show, call our studio at 312-642-5600 or watch live and interact on YouTube on Target Radio.
So I'm not exactly sure. We talked about this a little bit just before the show. When I read what was written about this, it looks like the FOP has brought in DeSantis to this thing, and you were saying that's not exactly right.
Well, the way that Catanzara says it, he says that DeSantis people reached out to him and said, "We're coming there. We want to give a speech. We want to invite your people." So, kind of flipping it.
But they
on its
agreed.
head. Well, yeah, and it says it's not being hosted by Lodge 7. All we are simply doing is promoting a speech that he is coming to town to give in support of the men and women of law enforcement in this state and in this country. So it's DeSantis wanting to give a speech, and they put out the invitation to Chicago Lodge 7.
Well, we know Pritzker doesn't view DeSantis as his best friend.
No.
That's a real bad relationship between those two.
Right.
He calls him, and this is typical Pritzker. Ron DeSantis is dangerous. His dangerous and hateful agenda has no place in Illinois. Excuse me, but let's see. It's okay to have abortions here. We're going to outlaw every gun ever made in the history of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to shoot up drugs, all
good.
that,
That's
all that
okay.
other kind of stuff.
Commit a crime, you don't go to jail.
Yeah,
Allowed
right.
to do that.
Yeah.
Right. We can expose young children to
Oh,
sexual ideas they're not ready for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fact that DeSantis wants to limit those things in Florida, that's what they hate about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pritzker's being a crybaby about it. Lightfoot's being a crybaby about it. Chewy Garcia, he was just being kind of snarky. He wasn't being a crybaby. He's just snarking it. Paul Vallis. But it's really put Paul Vallis into a strange situation where Vallis was endorsed by the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, and now Vallis is trying to distance
Basically
himself
turned his back on him.
from the FOP. And this article says it fueled Lightfoot's campaign strategy to paint Vallis as a closet Republican. That whole thing is hilarious. Vallis is putting out ads saying he's a lifelong Democrat. He's got to defend his record as a Democrat, which is kind of funny. But Lightfoot told the Sun-Times, Vallis has wrapped his arms around the far-right fringe of the Republican Party, and no awkward attempt to back away now from Ron DeSantis, a racist, homophobic demagogue, can change the fact that Paul Vallis is fast on his heels. This is who Paul Vallis is.
So Bill Gates, who is, now the heir apparent of the cabal that they think they're better off running the world than the people who live in it, he's now calling for the use of artificial intelligence because free speech is a very important issue. You shouldn't have it.
That's what ties all this together is
exactly
free speech. These Democrats don't want DeSantis to be able to come and give a speech
because it is digital misinformation. That's a great new term. I like that. Digital
Ridiculous.
misinformation.
Be illegal soon.
It's what?
It'll be illegal soon, just
yeah,
like regular
yeah.
misinformation.
So he was interviewed, and he called for unleashing artificial intelligence to stop certain views from being magnified by digital channels. The problem is that we allow various conspiracy theories like QAnon and whatever to be blasted out by people who wanted to believe those things. So he's saying, I know better than you do, and we'll just filter that stuff out because it causes problems.
Well, they already have done that. Maybe they haven't used AI to do it before, but they've already done it.
I'm sure there was some level of AI involved in
Yeah,
that, or
probably.
some room of liberal think tank.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My favorite is what Elizabeth Warren said. In 2021, she objected that people were not listening to the informed views of herself and other leading experts. Instead, they were on their own reading views by searching for books on Amazon. Oh, my goodness. She blamed Amazon for failing to limit searches or choices to prevent the spread of falsehoods or the sale of inappropriate products. And she demanded that Amazon change its algorithm to suppress
Of course.
opposing viewpoints.
Of course. Well, it's like
And she gave them a time limit. Like,
Yeah.
you do this right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have 14 days.
You know, I saw a steering wheel cover on Amazon the other day that had the word steering wheel and cover in it at least 18 times. I don't think Amazon is on top of anything that gets sold by them.
Yeah.
You're listening to On Target Radio, and this is AM 560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, to weigh in on this. Do you agree with...
Well, the interesting...
How much money has this guy got? How far can he go? Is he richer than Soros?
I don't think I
Talking
wouldn't
about
go
Gates.
that far.
Well, the interesting thing is that he wants to unleash this AI and, have it control the internet and everything. But at the same time, what they're not talking about is all these news stories about Bing's new AI and having meltdowns and comparing AP reporters to Hitler and saying it wants to steal nuclear codes and saying it wants to be human and all this kind of stuff. So it's a pretty scary thing.
Well, he talks about confirmation bias, a term that I really love. That's great. Confirmation bias is a term long used to describe the tendency of people to search for, interpret information in a way that conforms with their beliefs. Okay.
Isn't that like a stereotype then?
But then it goes on and says, it is now being used to dismiss those with opposing views as ignorant slobs dragging their knuckles across the internet. That's, I don't know, I kind of feel
that's me.
I think that feels good. Yeah, that feels good to me. Would you have ever, 20 years ago, ever thought that this type of stuff would be going on?
Well, and
No.
this is all happening as there's a new spark for net neutrality coming around as well.
Again?
To try to censor
yeah.
the internet, right?
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, I mean, this
Again.
is all kind of commingling and combining. I think it's going to combine into a perfect storm at some point in time.
Gates
Well,
gave an
it kind of
address.
has to.
Gates gave an address to the Forbes 400 summit. It was on philanthropy of all things, and he told his fellow billionaires, I'm sure over, a $500 meal, that, quote, polarization and lack of trust is a problem, unquote. You think? Wow, that's pretty insightful. Does he realize that he's the one that's doing it? That's the question.
Actually, Bill Gates is richer than George Soros.
Oh, homelessness is a
he?
problem. Drugs are a problem. Microsoft's crappy security in the software is a problem. I mean, there's lots of problems.
The fact that Windows Update is just spying on you.
According to Economic Times, it looks like it's from India, but they say Bill Gates has a net worth of $124 billion, and George Soros is down to $8.6 billion.
Does he spend it all on people going out rocking the boat?
He bought so many bricks to put around Minneapolis.
Exactly.
He bought so many state's attorneys.
Bill
In the Midwest.
Clinton, Bill Gates having that much money is an issue if he wants to do nefarious things, right?
Yeah.
But the other wrinkle to it is that upon his death, all of Bill Gates' money, I think like 90% of it, is going to quote unquote charities. But a lot of these charities are just these opaque organizations that he himself has set up. No one knows what they do.
Right.
Very few people know who's in charge of them. A lot of them are set up in places where you don't have disclosures. So
Perfect.
Yeah, who knows?
Perfect. Did you read the quote from the Twitter guy? This must have been before.
Oh, yes.
This guy must have been previous to Elon Musk buying it, because he was the CEO of Twitter, Parag Agrawal.
Yeah.
He pledged to regulate content as reflective of things that we believe lead to a healthier public conversation. Where does he get off?
Well, yeah, and then he says we're going to focus less on thinking about free speech, because speech is easy on the internet. Most people can speak. Where our role, talking about Twitter, where our role is particularly emphasized is going to be who can be heard.
Yeah.
If you don't say the right stuff,
Yep.
you're out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's scary stuff.
Well, it's been happening. We now know it. We have now proof.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you look at this historically, you're right. All of this stuff from day one has been sold to the public as this is going to make your life better.
Right.
You'll be able to just stay at home and shop. You'll be able to do this. You'll be able to do that. This is going to make your life better.
That's the only way they could sell it.
Exactly. And at the same time, what they're doing is you're swallowing a poison pill.
Anything that will make your life better does not, and everything the government says is the opposite.
Well, it's what I told the guy for the 20th time who called me about putting solar panels on my roof. I said, he kept saying, this is a great thing for you. I said, if it was such a great thing for me, you wouldn't be on the phone trying to convince me it was a great thing. I'd have figured it out. Anyway, we're going to have to take a break. When we return, we're going to talk about mental health data not for sale. All that and more on Target Radio. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson.
People, how long will you stick out a bad date?
Oh, you stay till the end. I mean, if you're eating dinner, you don't want to get up and leave. But I've known people that, will text me and say, please help me get out of this bad date.
People will stick out a bad date for an average of 51 minutes before making their excuses to leave. 51 minutes, I'm just getting warmed up. I don't lead with my best material.
Start your day with Chicago's Morning Answer. Weekday mornings starting at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Well, I drive a truck for a living. I don't get hardly any exercise. I'm not kidding you now. I'm not easily sold on anything, but I'm a firm believer in this product. I watched those advertisements for 2 or 3 years and listened to the radio going down the road, and I said, something's got to be going on with that product for that many people to do ads for them. And I'll tell you what, I just uptown a while ago, I told some of my buddies, I said, I'm not BSing you, man. I'm not kidding you. It's amazing. It totally amazes me.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Are you tired of how race, gender, and science have been weaponized to destroy America's most fundamental values and principles? Today, America is facing a critical threat to conservatism and Christianity, and it's time to rise and take a stand.
Join the Black Conservative Summit March 24th and 25th to hear from keynote speakers, participate in breakout sessions, panel discussions, and more. Speakers include Larry Elder, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Dr. Vodi Bakum, and Dr. Alveda King. You'll also hear from Dr. Shelby Steele, Bob Woodson, Ken Blackwell, Dr. Eric and Jennifer Wallace, and many more. Visit blackconservativesummit.net for more information and to register today. Enter the Black History Month promo code BHM23 for a special discount. That's the Black Conservative Summit, March 24th and 25th, held at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Everyone is welcome, regardless of ethnicity, to unite and discuss how to fix America.
Seating is limited, so register today at blackconservativesummit.net. That's blackconservativesummit.net.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM 560, The Answer, with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
So we have all these apps now, and you see all these commercials for these mental health things.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a therapist really quick,
They make it sound so good.
Oh, it's so easy and it's so great, and you could just chat with these people, and it's all these people that are afraid to go to the doctor, and now they can, just get on an app, or they can have these telehealth visits for their providers and, talk about their deepest, darkest, whatever, but, huge surprise, all this data that these apps are collecting and that all this telehealth is collecting is all for sale.
Oh, big shock.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and, all this is supposed to be protected under HIPAA, but the way these apps operate and this data they collect, actually, some of it isn't actually protected under HIPAA, and HIPAA really only cares, how they collect the data and how they transport it. It doesn't actually care what third party gets their hands on it or what happens with that data once a third party gets their hands on it. So there's actually this data that's available, and there's been some research, and it goes all the way from an aggregation of there's so many people in this zip code with this condition or something like that, all the way down to this person, John Doe, has these conditions, and that is super scary.
Yeah, personally identifiable information is what we really don't want them to have, but even aggregated, I mean, that's kind of disturbing. But yeah, this Duke University did a research project, and they actually contacted data brokers to find out what kind of mental health information they could buy. She found 11 companies willing to sell bundles of data that included information on what antidepressants people were taking, whether they struggled with insomnia or attention deficit issues, details on other medical ailments, including Alzheimer's or bladder control problems.
We've got a call from Roland, who's in Arlington Heights. Roland, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine, guys. I try to catch you every Sunday.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Okay, I have a comment about the Elmhurst location for the DeSantis speech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if a felony occurs in connection with that speech, it's going to be prosecuted by Bob Berlin, not Kim Fox.
Is that not Cook County?
No, Elmhurst is DuPage County.
Is DuPage? Okay,
Yeah,
well then,
yeah,
that's true.
you're right. And what's the point? I mean, I'm not sure if there'll be a problem.
Right.
Well,
why would there be a problem?
Well, maybe somebody is going to get very upset at DeSantis that they might try to do something illegal. No. But if that happens, it'll be Bob Berlin prosecuting, not Kim Fox.
I don't know his history, but I know it's probably better than Kim Fox. I mean, so that would be a good thing.
Tough to be worse.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. It would be tough to be worse. I'm just not exactly sure where that was going.
I think he's just saying if we had a event, not us, not our event, but there was an event, I think it was at Bourbon Street or something like that about a week and a half ago, which got canceled because of threats that came in and stuff like that. So there are at least overt threats involved in pretty much any public Republican
who doesn't
or
like
conservative thing. Yeah. And so I think he's thinking along the lines of if somebody does show up trying to make trouble, you're going to be dealing with the Elmhurst Police and DuPage County State's Attorney's Office rather than Cook County.
I'm not sure if he's thinking they're conservative, but I will tell you that DuPage County has shifted quite a bit.
It does, but they do still do their job for the most part,
well,
which is more.
That's true, but it used to be a very conservative place. Not so much anymore.
Right, not so much.
And for that matter, really, parts of Will County are now.
Well, I also think if Roland is trying to send a message to people who would do harm, they're not listening to AM 560. Sorry. Well, wrong audience.
In either case, the moral of the story is don't play stupid games and you won't win stupid prizes.
Right,
well,
exactly.
You're right.
Well, there goes my weekend.
Anyway, back to our mental health data story. It was also unclear to the researchers whether the apps or websites had allowed their users a way to prevent the sharing of their data to begin with, rather than trying to get it fixed on the back end. And privacy advocates have been talking about this for years.
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, you get a new piece of software, or you get a new app, or you go on a website or something, and there's a whole big, long legal disclaimer.
Yeah.
It's, I think they refer to it as click wrap, right? So it's like that shrink wrap on the software. Like you take it off, and so you click it and you're good, right? Who reads that?
Nobody.
Who reads the privacy policy when you go to your doctor's office?
Nobody.
I actually read that, and
I sometimes do.
I make corrections to it in certain spots, and there have been things that have been in there that have been kind of odd. It says we can share any information about you with any law enforcement agency or anybody else for any reason. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, that
No,
doesn't
we're not
sound
doing
right.
that.
Yeah.
And then they get all ticked off when you cross it off. But now the problem is, seeing these providers that you normally see at the doctor's office, well, now you can have these remote appointments, which is a lot more convenient. But when you do these remote appointments, you have to go through all this paperwork, even though it's a legitimate provider, it's one you've been going to, but you don't have an option to mark or change that privacy policy. So now
a lot of those proprietary systems also record all of those interactions.
I'm sure they
I would
do.
assume that's true.
Well, see, what's interesting about that you say that is data brokering. That whole thing is not. There's no law on that. It's wide open.
It pretty much is.
You can do anything you want, and God knows I'm not a proponent of more laws, but you would think there would be laws that would protect the average citizen from having really personal stuff just sold on the open market.
Right. Yeah, you would. But you're right. I mean, what Eric was saying is true. I mean, if there's a piece of software you want to use, or there's a website you want to use, or whatever it is, I mean, the iPhone is particularly bad about this. I mean, you have to agree to it, or you can't go on to whatever the next step is to use the product.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you're pretty much, they got you.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, the comment that you made about that, I get it, but here's your choice. I could read this entire thing, which is painfully long in legalese, and at the end, what are you going to do?
Right.
I mean, you want the software.
What are your options? Yeah.
Whatever it
not
says.
use it, I guess, or just unplug the cable from the internet. It's basically
right.
Most
Exactly.
People,
Just
most
stop.
people have gone to get that software specifically.
Well, let's think about that, right? You unplug the cable from the internet because you're tired. It's like, I'm done with this. I don't want this anymore. Well, then what? Now you're being recorded everywhere else that
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like there's this big data grab, and you walk around a store and there's AI saying what you're looking at, how long you're standing there, what you're doing, where you're going, what your route is.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
It's like the guy who said that he wanted to take concealed carry, but he didn't want the government to know he had a gun. And I said, do you have a gun? He goes, yeah. And I go, they know. I mean, people go, oh, well, the FFLs, they can't give that information. Are you kidding me? The government knows that stuff. They know what you got.
They want to keep their license. They'll be the first ones
I
to give it
thought
up.
this quote, there was two other interesting quotes in here that a researcher with Mozilla analyzed more than 24 apps, online pharmacies, therapy apps, telehealth services. Oh, it was the mental health apps. They analyzed and found that the vast majority had exceptionally creepy privacy practices. And the Federal Trade Commission said this month that it had negotiated a $1.5 million civil penalty from GoodRx after the company was charged with compiling lists of users who had bought certain medications and then using that information to better target its Facebook ads.
Yeah, and what was GoodRx? Do you remember those commercials? It was that little discount card you can go
It is,
online and get, and you get your your bin and your
Mm-hmm.
group number and your ID number for pharmacy stuff. But
Right.
what are we doing? We're tracking all the prescriptions. Because if you think about it, why in the world would this random company give you discounts on prescriptions?
Well, that is a good question, which no one ever asked themselves before.
No, they're just like, well, I'm saving money.
Yes and no. I mean, my chemo is, I've told you, it's $14,800 a month. I haven't paid it yet. I mean,
You sell out to GoodRx for
Yeah, but it's
giving
not.
up that data?
You're not getting a discount from GoodRx. You're getting it from the drug company
that's true.
itself.
But I mean, people do that. Actually, we're coming up on taking a break. I think the next subject is interesting. It catches my eye. Filthy homeless encampment inside Chicago's O'Hare. Here's the thing. Any motel on Manheim Road, which goes by O'Hare, is a filthy encampment. I mean,
That
you ever
used to
check
be
these places?
true.
Huh?
That used to be true. That's all mostly been developed now. There's this.
Has it really? I haven't been
there's
up there
still
in
a couple
years.
like sort of hourly type places down by Grand Avenue, but yeah, most of the part that's chains now.
They've always been a little slimy. I just be honest about it. They've always been a little slimy. So we're going to return. We're going to talk about the filthy homeless encampment inside of O'Hare Airport, and that's called the ticket counter. So we'll be back with that and more on Target Radio when we return. And you're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
News, I'm Richard Jordan. This week, President Biden will mark 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine during a high-stakes trip to Poland.
Mr. Biden will meet with his Polish counterpart in Warsaw, along with the so-called Bucharest Nine, America's allies on the eastern flank. This comes as the U.S. formally condemns Moscow's brutality as, quote, crimes against humanity. The Kremlin calls that statement an unprecedented attempt to demonize Russia.
Fox's John Scott. Well wishes for Jimmy Carter as the former president receives hospice care. Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell joined Fox News Live to reflect on his legacy.
One of the first things that Jimmy Carter did was, on his second day of office, was to give a pardon to Vietnam War draft dodgers.
America's listening to Fox News.
Do you like your gun range bag? There's a really cool local company here in Chicagoland that makes the finest range bags anywhere. And these quality range bags are so inexpensive that I bet you won't hesitate to buy one. The Hackett range bags from Hackett Equipment have it all. There are compartmentalized pouches that hold 2 or 4 pistols, ammo, mags, and even targets. Basically everything you need for a day at the range in a stealth design that doesn't resemble a range bag. Nobody will know you're carrying firearms. Additionally, they're super heavy duty and will last a lifetime because Hackett bags are 30% heavier than typical range bags. And the price is unreal. The large pack is under $100 and the small one under $80. But if you visit gunrangebags.com and use the promo code AM560, you'll save an additional 10%. Hackett Equipment bags really are range bags that can hack it. That's gunrangebags.com, promo code AM560. Gunrangebags.com. Do it now.
As the Biden administration ratchets up its war on Americans' right to keep and bear arms, a groundbreaking new book from Regnery Publishing pushes back and offers hope for the future. Professional firearms instructor and veteran gun store owner Larry Correa's new book, In Defense of the Second Amendment, pulls back the curtain on Washington's gun-grabbing agenda and how you can protect your rights. You'll learn why gun-free zones are more dangerous for college students and average citizens, how so-called gun control laws handcuff law-abiding Americans while allowing dangerous violent criminals to run wild in our cities, and offers solid details on how America has a history of gun ownership that is under attack by liberals in Congress. If you care deeply about protecting your Second Amendment rights and keeping your family safe, you must read In Defense of the Second Amendment, new from Regnery, available now at Amazon.com and wherever books are sold.
Dr. Gorka here, and I want to talk to you for a minute about 100% drug-free Relief Factor. I've been taking Relief Factor for years now to help me deal with pain in my body. My wife takes it as well. The reason we tell everyone we know about it is simple. We found it really works to help our bodies fight off the inflammation that causes aches and pains. Whether it's the pain of injuries you've sustained or just the natural pains from the mileage over the years, Relief Factor can help. I've never looked back. Almost 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it works for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. That's relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Feel the difference.
Hi there, I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
Retirement planning can be complicated. From asset and legacy protection to retirement income and extended care, you need a plan. Tune in to Retirement and Income Radio, hosted by well-known Chicagoland financial educator Mark Kohler. Mark helps listeners in or near retirement protect their savings from market volatility while creating lifetime guaranteed income. Listen to Retirement and Income Radio Sunday afternoons at 3:30 on AM 560 The Answer, or call Mark now at 844-619-SAFE.
We now return to On Target Radio on AM 560, The Answer. If you have a question or an opinion, share it with us at 312-642-5600. And now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
You know, I go in and out of O'Hare. I used to go in and out of O'Hare constantly. Then I retired, but now I'm sort of starting again when I go off and testify. And honestly, I've never seen any of the stuff they're talking about in this article.
Really?
I go down to baggage claim just like everybody else does. I go through the TSA. I do the, what do they call it, one eye thing or whatever it is, where you just look into it and it goes, okay, go ahead and go through. I don't wait in the line with everybody, but I honestly I've never seen this. I don't know.
When you went to SHOT Show, did you go through Midway or O'Hare?
No, I always go through O'Hare.
Oh.
Yeah. I've just not seen it. And
I think this is recent. I don't think this is, I think the problem has been ongoing, but I think the amount of people who have ended up here homeless has definitely increased.
Well, when did I go to Louisville? A month and a half ago?
Yeah.
That was,
SHOT
I went
Show
through
was,
O'Hare.
SHOT Show was only a month ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's true, but I honestly have not seen that.
Well, then you can join Governor, or not Governor, oh my God, that'd be terrible. You can join Mayor Lightfoot then in denying it and saying it's not as big of a deal as the Republicans are making it out to be.
So what you just said is you slipped and said governor. That was horrifying. But Lightfoot was okay.
Well, no,
I mean,
it's not okay either, but if she were the governor instead of the mayor, that would be a lot more horrible, was kind of the point I was trying to get across.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it may be true. It's hard to say, but I haven't seen it. And
this sounds like a lot, though. This says thousands of people.
Well, that's it. I mean, I don't understand how you can miss that. How can you miss that?
Have sought refuge at O'Hare. That
well,
seems
it's
like
over time. It's not all at once.
I would assume it's also not all times of the day. You're going to be out panhandling or something during...
Right.
On Mannheim in the motels that are
maybe,
actually filthy home encampments.
At night, you'll probably see more people sleeping.
Right. So there's this outfit called Haymarket Center O'Hare, which is an outreach program that connects homeless people at the airport with substance abuse counseling, housing, and other social services, but they don't have overnight accommodations. They don't have sleeping capacity. So, and they said that they have served 25% more people in 2022 than 2021, and that has continued into 2023. They said January was one of the busiest Januaries we ever had.
Well, and look, here's a good example. It said Terminal 3. It said, this is a quote from somebody. I flew back to O'Hare, Terminal 3 last week. I've never seen such a homeless problem in baggage in the 50 years I've lived in Cook County. Terminal 3 is, remember the trip I had with SHOT Show was Heart Attack City. Remember everything that could go wrong went wrong?
Yeah.
And I went through Terminal 3. I never saw any of that. Now, it is also true that there was smoke coming out of my ears over the Uber and all that stuff.
You were probably a little tunnel vision.
But how can I miss thousands of homeless people?
Well, first of all, with how great of a job Pete Buttigieg is doing, I realize that we haven't talked about him on this show.
That's true.
But with our transportation and everybody probably just kind of like laying around waiting for their flights because nothing is on time lately, you might have mistook half the people in Chicago for homeless people.
That's probably true.
I think you're being unfair about being on time because I have yet to be on a flight that was more than maybe an hour and a half late. It was.
It's happening more frequently, though, and I've noticed that. I will say that most of the flights I've taken
let those guys try their hand in the Japanese rail system.
Yeah, exactly.
But this does say that most of these reports are coming from overnight custodians, people that are there overnight. So, like Gretchen mentioned, it seems to be that they're out and about during the day, and then
it's probably mostly a nighttime problem.
Well, and that could very well be. Although when I came back, it was 11. What time did I get home? 11:30, I think. So
now, to be fair, Lori Lightfoot has said, "Well, this isn't really a big problem, not as big as they're making it out to be, but we're going to solve this problem." And then later on, I read that there have been no actual directives from her or her office to actually do anything about it.
Isn't it interesting that Lori Lightfoot sees, if this is true, sees indigent people looking for shelter at the airport as a bigger issue than people killing each other in the streets where she lives?
Well, she doesn't care about either of them.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think.
not necessarily that one's bigger. It's just she doesn't care.
But also, too, I mean, is O'Hare really Chicago's problem?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well,
there's an umbilical cord, and this is the truth. The Kennedy is Chicago all the way out. They bought the property.
That is contiguous land.
Yeah, it is. So it's all the way from downtown out to
Okay.
O'Hare.
And
O'Hare
Chicago,
International Airport is
there's
Chicago.
The board that runs O'Hare, I think, is appointed by the mayor.
That I don't know.
Well, that would be a problem.
It could be, though. It would logically be, because that's pretty
There's
common.
a lot of control from the mayor's office to
Yeah.
O'Hare.
I know Midway is because every time I'm there, I have to hear her terrible voice welcoming people to the gateway of Illinois or whatever the heck it is, and I just want to,
I'd rather have the white line, red line argument from Airplane.
I need to get my telehealth, mental health app out when I hear that.
And then they sell your data. But yeah, I do think that some of the people who are delayed, I've seen video on the news of people like sleeping by garbage cans and stuff, and I'm like, if I was going to sleep at the airport, I don't think that would be the spot I would pick. But
no, and how can you sleep at the airport anyway? I mean, like people like us. I mean, you can't not be aware of your surroundings.
Right, exactly. I don't think I mean, the only way I could is if I was just completely exhausted and I literally just passed out. I
can sleep at the airport.
Or if you had someone with you that was awake.
Right, that was going to watch.
Paying attention.
I can sleep at the airport. Anyway, we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, this may be my new favorite thing. When we come back, we're going to talk about the FBI labels 9 Catholic groups as radical, violent extremists. I may go back to being Catholic. I'm not sure. I may do that. All that and a whole lot more. We're going to return with On Target Radio, and you are listening to AM 560. The answer.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a physician, and I still see patients every day. And, so I tell my patients about this. And they ask me, well, what are you taking? And so I tell them, taking Balance of Nature. And they go, oh, yeah, I've heard about that. So I tell them how to get it. I give them your telephone number, 246-8751. And I tell them, call this number. And I said, they'll take care of you after that. So, I'm primary care. I really think that it works well for people to have fruits and vegetables.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature right now. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com for more information or to place your order. Shipping is always free. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
You're listening to On Target Radio, on AM 560, The Answer, with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. To participate, call the studio at 312-642-5600.
So it's bad to be Catholic. That's the newest thing.
That's the short version.
Yeah, Governor Youngkin is from Virginia. Expressed shock that the FBI Richmond Bureau memo on radical traditional Catholic ideology that cited the leftist Southern Poverty Law Center and demanded full transparency and accountability in the FBI's review of how the Bureau compiled and published the report. That's one of your favorite places.
I was going to say the SPLC rears its ugly head again. I still don't think that On Target Radio has been listed
and we've tried
as a hate group.
We've self-reported.
We did.
We've tried.
We did.
Tried.
I don't know. I don't know how to get through to them.
Maybe our listeners can report us.
Yeah, maybe if a lot of people report us.
We've reported us and it didn't do any good.
Right, exactly. So yeah, this memo is very interesting. There's a lot of terminology in here that this particular office of the FBI has observed interest of racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists in radical traditionalist Catholic ideology almost certainly presents opportunities for threat mitigation through the exploration of new avenues through tripwire and source development. But listen to the list of organizations: Catholic Apologetics International, Catholic Family News / Catholic Family Ministries.
That sounds bad.
That sounds really threatening. Christ or Chaos, Culture Wars / Fidelity Press, so a publishing company. The Fatima Crusader / International Fatima Rosary Crusade. That's almost certainly an order of nuns.
Well, they're going to come smack you with their rulers,
they're all
right?
in a bedroom somewhere on their knees praying.
Right, yeah. Exactly. In the Spirit of Charters Committee, the Remnant / Remnant Press, so another publisher. Slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, another order of nuns, very clearly. And Tradition in Action.
I think we have a very important comment on YouTube here. Barry wants to know if the story was published in the Babylon Bee, if that's where we got it from.
Actually, no, it's the Daily Signal.
I know. It seems like a Babylon Bee thing, doesn't it?
It does sound like a Babylon Bee.
Yeah, this is crazy. Well, I mean, are we surprised at this point at the FBI?
Well,
no, they're
yes,
weaponized.
But no. Yeah.
I mean, you are, but they've been used as a weapon against conservatives under the Biden administration for a long time.
Sure.
Let me tell you something. This is Dominicans. I told Torquemada, I told him, you do the Spanish Spanish Inquisition crap, they'll be held to pay someday. And so here we go. The FBI is doing it. The problem is they can't find any witnesses.
And you can't talk about anything.
Yeah.
Well,
anybody.
Even now you said the Biden administration, but he's only been in office for 2 years. It actually was happening. Remember, those people were like,
no, it's just, yeah,
trying to not get Trump elected, or trying to help, impeach him. So yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that the FBI is working against us, but I guess I'm having a hard time shaking the idea that, they're a law enforcement organization with integrity.
Well, they tried
integrity
the IRS first.
We got a couple phone calls to try and get to. Nick has been on hold for a while. Nick has a comment about O'Hare homeless. You only have a real quickie, Nick. So what's up?
Yeah, well, I didn't talk to any call screener, but I'll talk about that. Something has to be done legally to change the category of people who are homeless from people who have a right to lay around when it's 20 below and lose fingers with frostbite, to they don't have a right to it. Even in warm climates like California, you can't just be, it has to be like a vagrancy law and some kind of very basic housing. And these little tiny houses that I hear about being built, they show, the idea is to give something better for them than where they're at, but not so much better where, hey, if I'm not working and they give me this, well, why should I even worry anymore? I'm in a better position now. So, and can I say real fast about that Northern Illinois Bobcat Balloon Brigade? Why don't they pick some kind of an acronym? There's WOOGMS on the northeast side. They have a parade once a year for the 4th of July. and it's called the Wellington Oakdale Old Glory Marching Society. They call it WOGMS for short. Why doesn't this balloon brigade thing make up something? It's really irritating me. I'm going to have to call my congressman as soon as he gets out of jail.
Oh, boy.
You know? Okay.
That doesn't know how the congressman call works out. All right. We'll chance it. We got one more caller. Mark Weiermiller, you have 30 seconds, Mark. Tick-tock. Go ahead.
Hello, David and Gretchen. Great show tonight. Hey, real quick on the homeless thing, there's a huge problem under the expressways all over Chicago, especially at Belmont, over by Roosevelt Road.
Well, and Lower Wacker Drive, too.
Yeah, and J.B. Pritzker controls that area under the expressway. But, yeah, Ed and Wacker Drive, and they're now allowing people to camp in the park. And my argument is, why doesn't Lori Lightfoot do something about this rather than talk about equality and everything else? One last thing, 723 homicides in Chicago last year. This is a serious thing. We need to turn Chicago around. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling, Mark.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. He's right. He's right. There's and that we have shelters, but apparently the demand now far exceeds the shelter.
Well, because Illinois is just doing so great.
Well, it's ridiculous. It's just
the whole country. But
we're gonna take a break. You got action items?
I have a few.
We'll do action items when we return. You're listening to On Target Radio. This is AM 560. The answer.
Have you been lied to? Lied to by politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, this is best-selling author Davey Dowdy from right here in the Chicago area, and I want to give you a free copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth. Because according to Time magazine, Wall Street's retirement plans and 401ks have failed millions of Americans. After seeing the last market crash over 39%, I said enough. I've discovered a way to grow money potentially double digits, reduce taxes dramatically, and also have my money protected when the next stock market crash hits. When the next market crash hits, you lose nothing. Call Navy Dowdy & Associates now to get a free copy of my book and talk to me personally to discover this little-known strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose when the next stock market crash hits. And I'll even cover shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call 1-800-392-9595. 1-800-392-9595. Again, 1-800-392-9595.
For an experience at the dentist that's more like going to a spa, meet Dr. Luma at North Shore Dental Group. Preventative and cosmetic dentistry for the entire family.
Hi, I'm Dr. Luma. I welcome you to come to North Shore Dental Group and let us show you what it's like to enjoy going to the dentist. You'll be greeted at reception by our friendly staff and will be comfortable not only in our waiting rooms, but in our luxurious and comfortable private rooms. We use all state-of-the-art equipment, and you can enjoy TV while we're working and just relax. We use laser dentistry when needed for less pain. You'll have a faster recovery time and quicker healing. We welcome you to have an amazing experience at the dentist.
Dr. Luma is accepting new patients now, and for a limited time, new patient exams with full mouth x-rays are only $59.99. Call 847-292-8200 or Google Dr. Luma. That's L-U-M-A. North Shore Dental Group. A lifetime of healthy smiles.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM 560, The Answer, with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life. Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
Do you like Charlie Kirk? Of course you do. If you would like to spend the better part of a day with Charlie Kirk and some of his good friends, there is an event on Saturday, February 25th in Crystal Lake called Exposing Radicals' War on Kids, Preparing for the Battle to Take Back Education in Illinois. Charlie Kirk is the headliner. Other speakers include Alex Newman, Dr. Beth Myers, Dr. Kelly Coles, and Dr. Anthony Vanderhorst. And the event is sponsored by AM 560, the McHenry County GOP PAC, National School Boards Leadership Council, and Moms for America. To reserve your seat, go to mcgopac.com. Start making plans now to join On Target Radio for Illinois Gun Owner Lobby Day, Wednesday, March 29th in Springfield. Safer USA is now offering classes in Geneva, Waterman, and Bonfield. Saturday, March 4th, Illinois Concealed Carry Renewal Class, taught by David. Tuesday, March 7th, Illinois Concealed Carry Renewal Class, taught by David. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
I can't recall the name of, I think it's a guy, but he's in the Biden cabinet.
Well, you wouldn't know then if it was Biden
Yeah,
cabinet.
I probably wouldn't
Well,
know.
the one who, isn't she in charge of social services or something?
Oh, you're talking about the he-she?
Yes.
Okay.
Which one? I mean, honestly.
They've made it sort of a irrelevant parameter.
Well, so what they did was they are priding themselves on being like the only cabinet to have all this diversity with this LGBTQ, black, female, blah, 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 blah. And they're not getting the best person for the job. They're getting the best person to fill their quota.
So did you see what she said yesterday?
It's Rachel Levine.
That's it. Did you see what she said yesterday?
I did not.
She was going on, waxing eloquently about how much money they will make doing gender change of young children.
Oh, my God.
No, they shouldn't be making money at all. They're the government.
That's what she was talking about. She was talking about the unimaginable amount of money that's going to bring in.
Well, when she said we, she probably mistakenly meant the boards of the hospitals that she probably sits on that are for profit.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. She was talking from the White House, but just the whole thing, though, that you have a government official, a cabinet level official, who's talking about taking 5-6-year-old children and doing gender changes on them because it's going to make money. I don't care who you're talking for.
Yeah.
That's just insanity. Yeah. I mean, that's total insanity.
We used to call those like Nazi witch doctors.
No kidding.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to be horrified by it.
Rachel
Well, we
Mingle.
still are.
Some of us still are.
Yeah, some of us still are.
There's not words. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem with talking about it on radio.
And you speak out about it, and you're silenced. And
they
now
cut
AI is going to silence
Yeah,
you. And
they cut off all your
it's
communication.
ridiculous.
They've also sort of, blanket limited the sort of words we can use. We'd all like to use different ones that we can't use.
But no matter how bad it gets, we will always have AM 560 who will allow us to.
Yeah.
Should have held the silence slightly longer, but that was great.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you listen to radio stations, I don't know if you do or not, George, but if you listen to radio stations, this is one of the last radio stations in the Chicagoland area.
What do you mean one of?
Well, yeah, you're right. That's probably true.
WLS
You mean
and
talk radio?
WGN used to be,
Yeah.
bastions of at least some diversified talk.
Yes, not
that
anymore.
is not the case.
Not anymore. No. And you remember we did the interview with Eric Zorn, and while we didn't always agree with him, he was very logical. He was very polite. He argued his points. It was a good interview. That stuff's gone.
It has finally come to the end of On Target Radio. Be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering more red meat issues that affect your life.
Hard drives fail. Viruses destroy data. Having a copy of your work, photographs, financial records, and other important files is one step in a thorough backup plan. Geekometrics offers a secure online solution by placing a copy of your data off-site where it's safe from theft, fire, and unauthorized access. Losing photos and financial information is devastating. Geekometrics' secure online backup solution is a reliable way to back up important files. The most common reasons for not backing up are uncertainty about what needs to be backed up and how to do it reliably. Geekometrics provides a full-service managed solution with no storage limit. Geekometrics does all of the setup, configuring, testing, and monitoring. Your data is even safe when you travel with your Mac or PC laptop. Call 630-759-9283 to talk to a specialist who can help you keep your data safe. 630-759-9283. Geekometrics, helping you keep your data safe.
News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com on the AM 560 mobile app.